It's your girl Lo, and today we're talking about Coming to America, the sequel.
The sequel nobody asked for.
Why? Why?
I'm gonna try my best to be nice and at the same time critical of this film because I understand that a lot of people love this film. Anybody who likes movies can agree that this is easily one of the top 10, if not top 5 best comedies of all time, the original Coming to America. Now, I personally felt like this film felt really short. So pretty much it begins with it being the 30th anniversary of Lisa McDowell's and Prince Akeem's wedding. We see that they have 3 daughters. All the daughters are beautiful. I was happy to see the range of shades. I like to see a range of colors. That's just me. I was happy to see that the eldest daughter is actually a brown-skinned woman. And then we had Tiana Taylor, a lighter complexion. Beautiful. She was gorgeous in the film. Okay, body. Damn! Prince Akeem's father, King Jaffe, is actually in the process of dying. So we also find out that Prince Akeem has a son back in Queens, New York. Before he can go to Queens, New York, his father dies. And the way he dies upsets me because who just mid-sentence, okay, basically says, I'ma head out and just dies.
I'm going to die now.
Come now, Father. Everything is going to...
Before he goes back to Queens, we meet Wesley Snipes, who is supposed to be General Izzy. Yeah, his character, I love Wesley Snipes. Okay, I love him. Okay, I love New Jack City. I love White Men Can't Jump. I wasn't feeling him in this role. He killed the role itself, but I felt like the writing was just so lackluster that he couldn't really be the Wesley Snipes that we seen in the movie Dolomite. By the way, he was great in Dolomite. But anyway, so we meet him and he's trying to marry off Prince Akeem's oldest daughter with one of his offspring. The girl was like, yeah, I ain't feeling it. Let's stop there. I felt like that part of the story wasn't really fleshed out enough. It's like, hey, I want to marry off one of your daughters. Oh, but wait, I have a bastard son, so she doesn't have to be married off. So it's like, I don't know, they didn't flesh that part out really well. He goes to Queens and to find his son. His son ends up to be Lavelle Johnson, and we find him trying to hustle on the streets and do his thing. And pretty much, let's stop there. So they find him on the street. Okay, before they find him on the street, they actually go to that barbershop, which I was really excited to see. Love the characters from the original film, the old guys at the barbershop, and you know, that part was pretty funny. You know, I chuckled a few times because, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Basically, the guys at the barbershop say, hey, yeah, I know your son. Here's your son. Okay, so they find the son. Now, the son was a little too eager to be like, oh, you my daddy? Like, if it's been over 30 years and somebody just walks up to you and says, yes, I am your father, you're gonna be like, no. And I just felt like his reaction was too reluctant. So yeah, I wasn't feeling that part. So anyways, they go to his apartment where they meet his mom, who happens to be played by Leslie Jones. I think she was pretty funny in this role. I tend to categorize Leslie Jones as one of those kind of funny, just outrageous type characters. I kind of put her in the Tiffany Haddish pot. She was kind of loud and ghetto. Okay, a little ratchet, little hood, and I like that element about her. She was, I think she was pretty funny in the film. So they go back to Zamunda. Okay, so they living large, they living it up. The son Lavelle, he ends up finding out that not only is he the son of Prince Akeem, but he has to get married. Okay, he has to get married to continue on the legacy, pretty much. And he meets this royal groomer, and she's actually in charge of cutting his hair, making sure he looks his best. And they kind of start digging each other. Anyways, while all this is going on, Lavelle's character has to go through a series of tests in order to become considered the prince. Okay, so I think there was a test of courage. He has to cut off the whisker of a lion or something like that. He has to go through a series of tests. Long story short, he passed all those tests and he was able to become the prince. So he's excited, and while all of this is going on, he starts, forming a relationship with his royal groomer. And there's even a point in the story where they're outside, they're talking about movies, and funny enough, they have this joke where they're talking about how, classic films are remade and they are trash. How ironic. Basically poke fun at themselves at the fact how trash this movie is. But anyway, so once they form their relationship, he decides that he doesn't want to marry Tiana Taylor's character. He wants to marry the royal groomer. So while all this is going on and he wants to go tell his father, he overhears a conversation of his father and General Izzy, and it doesn't make him feel good. So he tells his mom, like, hey, I'm out, let's go back home, I'm gonna marry this girl, yada yada yada. All right, cool. So they go home. At this point, he's King Akeem because his father has passed. So he follows his son to America, okay? Because he's like, yo, like, why you leaving when you know you're supposed to marry this other girl? So General Izzy, he finds this out. He kind of confronts the daughter of King Akeem, and they kind of get into this all-out brawl. Okay, so once they get onto this brawl, basically he get his ass whooped by all the daughters and Semi. Semi is King Akeem's best friend, right-hand man. So they whoop his ass, and pretty much they hold him hostage. So while all of this is going on, King Akeem, he travels to America and tries to stop the wedding of his son Lavelle and the royal groomer. So he finds out through the old guys at the barbershop that he is actually trying to get married. He goes there, he stops the wedding, and King Akeem finds out that his son is not trying to marry that other girl because he's not in love with her. So it's similar like to the original plot where pretty much they play off the like father, like son, whole deal. So, yeah. So anyways, they go back to Zamunda and they have this royal wedding. The end. Okay. Let me get into the pros of the movie. Costumes. Leslie Jones. I thought she was funny. Yeah, that's it.